Hello, I'm back. In this video I'll be speaking about models, assets, and people who make a lot of noise out of nothing. But mostly people who make big noise out of small assets. Let's get down to it. Yandere Simulator got famous around the internet for being in disastrous development hell that lasts for almost a decade. The atrocious code, poor quality assets, and disagreements with people who were helping the project. After dragging Alex back and forth and unearthing his amusing embarrassing past, the milk had gone dry, and tea got cold. But don't you worry, there is a whole community of people working hard to manufacture more controversy for your entertainment and personal gain. Mostly entertainment, hardly anyone gains anything from messing up with Alex. Some of the people who tried that almost got issues with the law. Let's get a little bit nostalgic and take a moment to remember all those unsung heroes. Lame food developer. After squeezing his way into Alex's inner circles, he made a pet project of his own, which he announces soon as a fan game, which was nothing short of plagiarism. It made a huge noise in the community, but it did not help the development. It stalled even faster than Yandere Simulator, only to be forgotten and dim in obscurity. The discount Christian. This distinguished gentleman gained spotlight as a victim of Alex's unbridled rage. Even huge channels were telling his sad tragic story. Interestingly enough, his channel turned out to be just fine, and the part where Alex is an evil mastermind was a hoax. Like a woman on a date with Alex, he had to pay, so his channel was closed for real. Poster with million polygons. High poly toothbrush left no legacy. The model was removed from the project, and there was hardly any models worth a laugh. Thankfully for us, there was someone who could fix the situation. That's how a million polygon poster was born. Promoted by notorious subreddit. The unsupervised child with multiple issues, who came up with this innovative idea to lie about models, quickly lost its orbits around Yandere Simulator communities. Dr. Diapers. The savior of the Yandere Simulator no one asked for and no one needed. This person gained massive popularity upon announcement of his own plagiarism of Yandere Simulator by showing cheap scene with walking characters. What could go wrong? Everything went wrong. In fact, it went so wrong he disappeared from the internet for good. Vladislav the Volunteer. One of our most recent guests on our channel. This is the man who came up with a brilliant idea of a very long con of trying to interrupt the development of Yandere Simulator by claiming ownership of the character model by virtue of making it before Alex's volunteers do. His plan was perfect. There was just a minor thing that brought everything down. First, it turned out he didn't make the model, it was an edit. Second, he simply told on himself. The most he got out of this affair was having Alex mildly irritated. As you can see, all these wonderful people worked really hard to deliver us the tea. Unfortunately, it was all bitter, cheap, and adulterated. Thankfully, I know how to brew my own tea. Not a single person who tried to take down or hurt Alex got out clean. However, the list is not complete. But don't you worry, here comes the hero who can add yet another paragraph to it. As you know, Yanderedev surrounds himself with very questionable people. After all, what can you possibly expect if you don't offer any adequate compensation for the work? Hardly any decent person will give away their time for free. So, who's going to apply? Various opportunists, rookies, kids, and people with issues. Essentially, everyone whose work isn't worth a penny, or who can't take said penny for the lack of a bank account. Our hero is one of those people who volunteer to give their time and labor free of charge. In fact, the time and labor had been given for free for more than 2 years. What an accomplishment! And now this hardworking, respectable, talented, humble, and wonderful person comes to save us from the boredom by bringing down Alex and Yandere Simulator. This volunteer demands all the contributions to be pulled from the project of Yandere Simulator. That means models, textures, and even mesh deformers. Essentially every single thing that came across this person's personal computer and used in the project. What could possibly go wrong with such a tight and solid work record? As it is with everything involved with Yandere Simulator, everything went wrong. From the very start. I'll explain. You see? This volunteer, who's known as Yan and by moniker Princess D, is a pathologically narcissistic individual. When you get no monetary reward for helping Yandere Simulator development, some people join for validation, approval, and attention. Generally speaking, getting narcissistic supply. When this supply run out, so did the incentive to help Yanderedev. However, there is still one more thing left to squeeze to satisfy a malignant narcissist. It's to hurt Alex and the project of Yandere Simulator. Yan was kind enough to provide us with a weighty archive of screen captures and various text documents with enough text to be published as a whole book. But that's not what this video is about. Today we are talking about models and assets. This archive included a document with a list of assets that Yan claimed ownership of. It's worth noting that majority of items from this list are very, very minor contributions. Yan counted every single mouse click that helped Yanderedev. For someone who had been working on the project as long as 2 years, his list is pretty modest. Did I mention Yan claimed the title of the main modeler of Yandere Simulator? Interestingly enough, no one referred to Yan as such. I have decided to look up how much would Yandere Simulator lose if the items from the list would be removed. First, I noticed it contains a big chunk of character textures, some unidentified assets, and mesh deformers. Things that Yan can't claim. I have decided to skip those items and move straight to the models. As usually, it was very difficult to locate the models in the project, because Yandere Simulator project is a mess. As I was looking through, I was getting more information from other volunteers, members of the official Discord, and other people. Turns out some of the models are in fact nothing more but an edit of the AOE character pack. So, I have decided to skip those. Then, more people came forward noting more assets not being made from scratch. What I was left with was a small number of items which were made together with other volunteers, which, again, can't be claimed. And even after filtering out those, I still had a lot of uncertainty to proceed. So what did Yan actually make? That's a good question. Turns out majority of items on that list can't be claimed. Mostly due to copyright, and most items being Unity Store assets. Yes, Yan claimed ownership of assets which originally come from AOE character pack. The most notable example is the delinquent skirt. It's nothing more but an elongated default skirt from Unity Store. Unity Store license allow edit of the models and textures, however you can't claim copyright on them, and neither can you resell them as an asset pack. I have worked with Alex on just a single occasion, and yet my personal record of contributions would be much longer. By the way, I never objected to Yanderedev keeping things I made for him. He can have them all. Some of you may ask, how can one even claim ownership of an asset? Well, first of all, the asset needs to be made for personal portfolio, for personal library, for personal art page, or for personal digital store page. If you make something for someone by request, it's not yours. You also can't claim copyright of character models made by you, but whose designs and concepts don't belong to you. You also can't claim ownership of mesh deformers such as skeletons and more. I think that's about all. In the end, the main modeler of Yandere Simulator turned out to be less than mediocre modeler. I would say Mulberry handles her tray starred with much more responsibility than Yan does with edited AOE character pack models. In the end, Alex is not required to remove anything from his project. But Yandere Simulator wouldn't be in development for 9 years if it wasn't handled by Alex. Unfortunately, being surrounded by whiny kids, he forgot how adult people do business. But still, since Yan turned out to be a small fry among Yanderedev's orbiters, it didn't take much time to replace the models from the list. Apparently there are more productive people helping the development of Yandere Simulator. Some of you may ask, what could cause a disagreement between Yanderedev and Yan? That's topic for another video, but for now that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching.